Let me do the sit down. I like that sit down thing. All right. So, hey guys, this is Two Heels Podcast Show thingy coming at you from Ethan's house. And today we're going to talk about some interesting topics. And as you can see, we left an empty chair for the soul of Carter because he's not here with us anymore. He went missing and we haven't found him. I'm not quite sure where he is, but I hope we see him soon. Anyways, oh hey Ethan, hey buddy. So where'd you go?
I was in your closet.
Oh, so you finally came out of my closet?
Yeah.
Okay. I respect you and I stand with you.
Okay.
All right. All right. Let's cover the first topic. So what I was thinking about is it's hard right now to avoid talking about everything that's happening. So first off, I wanted to talk about kneeling and the national anthem and what do you think that's going to look like. And so first off, I want to start, what are your predictions? What do you think national anthems will look like going forward?
I think in the near future, especially, not many people, if any, athletes stand. I think they're all on the same page that they're going to kneel because it's the right thing to do right now.
Yeah.
So, like, the whole Drew Brees situation, I think really made the national anthem, or what kneeling in the national anthem really means. They never did it to intend, it wasn't against our military or meant any disrespect to that aspect of the flag. But Colin Kaepernick was trying to make a statement, and he believed so hard in that statement that it ruined his career. So I really think that every athlete is on the same page right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I saw. I agree with you. I think I'm at the point now. I've looked at a lot of the articles surrounding it, and like, there's been a lot of talks with the NFL. And one of the things I've noticed is there was an article. It said it's no longer a question of whether they'll kneel; it's a question of how many will be kneeling. So I think it's going to be interesting to see which teams make it a concerted effort, like, okay, we're all going to kneel for the national anthem, like solidarity, and which teams will do, if there is like one or two Colin Kaepernicks on the team, what that will look like. But I think, especially with how I saw New York Times posted a thing on Instagram, and it was a graph showing the increase in support for Black Lives Matter, and it showed in the last month we've grown more, like Black Lives Matter as a movement has grown more than it had over the past 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, more people are supporting it, and I think that's going to really show when football comes back.
Yeah. I think it's hard to expect teams to not kneel. Like, because if one person doesn't kneel, then it's just not the right thing to do. The right thing to do is to kneel.
Yeah.
Especially if your brothers, your teammates are doing it. Then if you don't kneel, it's just you're gonna be in the wrong.
Yeah. I think it'll be more interesting to see. Well, what do you think people will do for someone who doesn't kneel? Like, imagine you have the whole San Francisco 49ers kneeling.
Right.
And then there's that one player that's not. What do you think happens?
I mean, they're going to lose their respect with their team. And, I mean, as an athlete, you have to build off of your team, and they're going to lose that brotherhood.
Yeah.
Because if you don't kneel, you're saying, look, I don't agree with you. I don't stand up for you.
Uh-huh.
And why would somebody want to be your brother if you don't stand up for them,
Yeah. Why would someone want to block for you? Why would someone want to catch a pass from you?
Why would somebody want to protect you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially, I don't know how Drew Brees is going to take it. I would assume, if I were him, I'd kneel.
I think he's going to kneel.
I think he's going to kneel.
His comment He just didn't think about it. He didn't think about before he said it. Like, he's apologized and he's tried to make it clear that, he didn't mean to offend anybody. But I think if he is true about his apology, if he really means that, he's got to kneel. Yeah. Because he's saying, look, I understand why you do it now. I mean, that's what he said in his apology. Like, I was wrong. I had the wrong opinion about this situation. So if he stands, he's gonna lose a lot of respect because of his apology.
I'll agree with that, because I think if he's really true about it, like you said, he will kneel. Yeah. And I also think that interview, there's no way he could have thought about what he said. Like, he has not been in contact with his teammates because of quarantine and such. Yeah. I just don't think he put the time into it. I think it was one of those things he was just like, I'm going to take a stand. But he didn't think it through.
Yeah. I don't, he wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I don't think.
No, I don't think.
He wasn't like, he wasn't trying to offend anybody. I really don't think he was. No. He just didn't think about it. And he made a mistake, and he apologized for it. So.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I think one of the things I took away from that is like athletes. The way America has it set up is like, I feel like athletes have such a huge role, because I know I've heard certain people say that like athletes shouldn't take a role in politics. They shouldn't be in it. But at the same time, if they're going to be the ones who get the headlines, why shouldn't they use the headlines for good?
Right. And they have the biggest stage to say something. Yeah. I think, because politics, there are people that are into politics and know everything about politics, but there are more people that are into sports and know everything about sports and don't really pay attention to everything in the political world. And a lot more people will see what athletes will say before they'll see what smaller politicians will say.
Yeah. No, I 100%. Because if you think about it, if Tom Tillis released a statement on something, one of the North Carolina senators, I don't think I would hear it. I would hear it much quicker if LeBron said it, or even Roy Williams said it. I would be like, okay, I get it. I hear it.
Right. And kids look up to athletes.
Yeah.
Way before they look up to politicians. Mm-hmm. Like, athletes are role models to people they don't know. Mm-hmm. And they influence people in such a heavy way that they have such a big stage to say the right thing and to do the right thing. And I think a lot of athletes are doing the right thing now. Like Russell Westbrook's making a documentary on something, but he's working on a documentary right now. LeBron's doing something. Michael Jordan donated $100 million,
which is crazy.
That's
$100 million. The reason I was talking about this is brought this in because obviously Fox News host Laura Ingraham, the racist she is, she said, have you seen the video of them comparing the clips?
No, I haven't, but I know the story.
The context, yeah. So it was basically, someone took a clip of what LeBron, it was a video, I think it was an HBO series, LeBron and Kevin Durant talking in a car. And LeBron voiced his opinions on, I believe it was the president and about politics. And in response, the Fox News anchor, Laura Ingraham, said, shut up and dribble. And I remember that was an instant controversy because it's like, why does LeBron have to shut up and dribble? But then, and the clip that they use is they clipped that and then they clipped what she said about Drew Brees. Yeah. And what she said about Drew Brees is, well, he has a platform. He should use his platform to talk about political opinions and all that. And so, what is your take on that?
LeBron handled it very well. I don't know if you've seen the video he posted on Instagram.
No.
But it starts off with you hear a ball dribbling in a gym, and it says shut up and dribble, and then it says shut up and do something else, and it goes through all these things, shut up and do something, and like throughout the whole thing you hear this dribbling, and then it's such a beautiful and powerful video, and it's pretty much like shut up and make a change. Like, I mean, that's not what it says, but it's like
that's the idea behind it,
right? And like LeBron, that statement, he could have gotten in a lot of trouble trying to argue with that statement.
Yeah.
And he kind of, it wasn't that big of an issue. I mean, of course it offended him, and it should have. But, like, he kind of didn't really worry about it. Mm-hmm. And he did something powerful with it through that video without being too aggressive.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he could have messed up by taking it too far, and he didn't.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I remember, I didn't see the video, but one thing I took away from the whole situation is, like, a lot of times, because, I mean, there's been controversies like this in sports before, is, like, I always feel like the athlete has to take the higher road.
Yeah.
It's almost like, because they're viewed by most media as the typical jock.
Right.
So they have to take the high road. But, because, like you said, if he had gone out and gone on a tweeting rampage, and like our president,
I was about to say that.
Tweeting rampage and attacked Laura Ingraham, he would have been immediately slighted for it.
Yeah.
Whereas the way he took it as, okay, another chip on my shoulder.
Yeah.
What am I going to show kids in the next generation how to deal with it?
And he did it he made a very smart decision by not making it a bigger deal
than it was.
Right. And it, not even that it was. I mean, it was a big deal, but he didn't turn it into a bigger deal.
Yeah.
And I think that was super smart on his part.
Yeah. Okay, so one topic I want to talk about, along with the athletes' role in politics, how far do you think they should go? Because I'm of the opinion they have their platform, and they should use their platform because they influence hundreds, if not thousands, of kids.
Right. So
they should use their platform, but to what extent do you think they should go with it?
I think they should stay. They shouldn't, like you said, they influence kids, they influence children, more than probably anybody. So they should use that wisely. They should know, they should act like role models. Mm-hmm. They shouldn't go too far to where they lose the role model, and it shouldn't be scary. Mm-hmm. They should take the right thing and make it a good influencer of how to do the right thing and not go too far.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you can go too far. You can, in any argument, you can make a fool of yourself.
Yeah.
You can just take it too far. You can get too angry. And they should stand up for the right thing while continuing to influence in the right manner.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, so it's more like they need to recognize who their audience is.
Right.
And so their audience, I don't know the actual statistics, but I'd assume LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Cristiano Ronaldo, a big portion of the people who will actually hear the message and it like sticks with them are the kids from like the second they get the iPhone to like 25 or something like that. So they're influencing kids, and I agree with you. I think athletes need to recognize who their audience is, because let's use the LeBron thing because we're talking about him already. If he had attacked Laura Ingraham and, like you said, made a fool of himself, he could have pulled something up that maybe he shouldn't have, or gone too far with an insult. And it's like, if he had done that, what are the 2-3 million kids that follow his every word and like are trying to be like him? What would they think? And what would they do?
Right. The players talk about how they looked up to Michael Jordan, they looked up to LeBron.
Yeah.
And so I think they know how they're impacting people because the athletes before them impacted them. Yeah. And so they need to look at, okay, if Michael Jordan would have done this, how would it have affected me? Mm-hmm. So I think they know the relationship between the public and the athletes as well as anybody.
Yeah.
So I think if they use that in the correct way, then if they look at themselves, and I think they can use it right.
Yeah, I think, and also another thing with that is I think athletes should, obviously they should be more versed on politics. Everyone should be more versed on politics than what we are. That's just a sin of the country. A lot of people just ignore it because they're like, oh, I don't want to look at it. But one thing about athletes is I hope that they stick to not only knowing their audience but also working on what affects them. Like, so if I'm listening to LeBron and I'm watching him, I want him to talk about the issues that he's faced, and I want him to talk about those issues because A, makes him seem more authentic,
right,
and B, it separates him from a politician, because a politician's going to try and say what you want to hear.
Yeah.
He's going to try and do whatever he can to get you on his side. Whereas with an athlete, I want them to speak more from their heart and like, this is an issue that I've had to deal with, that people I know have had to deal with, and this is what we should do to change it.
It's almost like the athlete's role is to educate instead of argue.
Yeah.
It's almost like they need to, this is what's wrong. There is a right that should happen. And they should fight for the right situation, but not get too involved with
where they lose themselves.
Right. They need to educate the people on the rights instead of, you know what I'm trying to say.
Instead of going in on like trying to what I'd say is like stretch too far.
It's like they don't need to do the politician's job because that's not their job, but they need to stand up for what they believe is right.
Yeah. I 100% agree. Yeah.
Okay.
And along with that, also one thing I want to mention is it's not just LeBron who does this. I mean, there's Richard Sherman, who I know does a ton of stuff in his community. He did a ton of stuff for Compton, where he grew up. I know there's different athletes. Kevin Durant has a ton of different things. I mean, I always make the joke, if a Fortune 500 billionaire donated and did as much as what the average athlete did,
right,
it would be an insane impact.
Right.
Because like athletes make a lot of money, but a lot of these Fortune 500 owners are like they have the ability to pull from like trillions of dollars.
Right.
So yeah, I've always thought athletes do what they can to help the people that got them to where they are.
Right.
And that's what builds community.
Because that's another thing about athletes is a lot of them don't come from everything.
Yeah.
A lot of these billionaires, they had it before they were born.
Yeah. They got the job because their dad was a part of the company.
And not all of them, but I feel like more athletes are common people until they turn athletes.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why they can connect with people, with the public, as well as they do. It's because they know what the public is. They know what it means to not, be raised in a big household, to not have everything.
Yeah.
So I think that's where part of their platform comes from, is, they're common.
Yeah, yeah. It's almost more like it makes them more authentic to the people who they're helping.
Yeah,
it makes them more authentic. Going along those lines, I want to talk about privilege in youth sports and how that affects American sports. And what I'm talking about here is there's been a huge issue with. I literally 10 seconds before we started this. I watched a video and a guy was talking about Zlatan Ibrahimovic, the soccer player. And he played in America, and one of the things he said about American soccer is it's a sport of privilege because not everyone, a kid who's below the poverty line isn't going to have the opportunity to play soccer the way someone living in suburbia in a nice house would. So what I'm trying to go with this is, what do you think about like sports, like youth sports, and how it's almost like a pay-to-play system with like AAU and all the different levels of Castle?
What? It's not fair, but I feel like if you can use if you don't have privilege, you can use that to motivate you as well. like we were saying, a lot of these NBA players, especially, didn't come from a lot. And they played AAU probably, but I was looking at on Instagram, SportsCenter posted something, and it was like all these NBA players weren't recruited after high school.
Mm-hmm.
Ja Morant was a no-star.
Yeah.
And a couple other. So, like, they overcame that. And all these players that were 4-stars that probably came from a privileged family, from a privileged background, they aren't in the NBA. I mean, some of them are, but a lot of them aren't. So, like, they have to fight, and that makes their journey, that makes them motivated more than I think they would be.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was watching this because one thing, Zlatan Ibrahimovic is Swedish, and he grew up, and he was scouted by his local, well, I don't know if it was local, but by a team in his country.
Yeah.
And that's how he got up into it. And the way European sports work more is it's like an academy system. It's almost like you go to a school.
Yeah.
So, like, I know David Beckham's kids, for example, I know they got into Arsenal's academy.
Yeah.
And so they grew up and they played in Arsenal's under 7s, under 8s, and like as you get older, you can play, and eventually you sign an apprenticeship.
Yeah.
And this is all just soccer, for example, because that's what he was talking about. And you sign an apprenticeship, and then that, like, football becomes your job at that point. Like, you're learning what football does, what are the operations, and how am I an athlete in that.
Yeah.
And so that's like your aspect. That's like the European aspect. Whereas in America, it's more like it's your parents sign you up for something, and then you play that sport, and then they sign you up for the bigger thing, and then you play that, and you sign up for the bigger thing. Because it's almost like you play rec, then you try out and sign up for AAU, then you sign up for high school basketball, and then you do AAU alongside of that, and you also have to pay for AAU.
Right.
And so, yeah.
I think basketball, if there was I think basketball, you don't have to pay as much as other sports. I don't feel like that's not necessarily true, but like soccer,
but it's almost more of a low budget,
right? And I feel like that's why the NBA, all these people like the NBA as much as they do.
Yeah.
But like I know as a tennis player, I come from a county that doesn't have tennis anywhere. The only courts in my county are the high school courts, and there's weeds all over them.
Yeah.
And then you go to these bigger cities and play with these people that have grown up in tennis academies and indoor courts on every corner, and so they can play tennis, and you can use their money to get better at tennis, to where not everybody has that, and it's an unfair advantage. But talent in the end is the thing that drives an athlete.
It's
to
the
get
talent
better.
And drive, yeah. No, I agree. It's just, I know when I was watching the video, he's talking about it, and he said, well, that could be a reason why, because U.S. men's soccer have been absolutely crap. I mean, we didn't make the last World Cup, definitely should have. Women's soccer is demolishing men's soccer.
Okay,
They are like top of the world. Men's is like, we lose to Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
So, and I was just thinking about it, it's just like, I know what you mean with basketball, because in theory, you don't need basketball shoes, but all you pay for is pretty much basketball shoes, and then a basketball, and then there are so many parks. One thing I think is the issue with soccer compared to another more American sports is when I go to a park, not all parks have a soccer field, but when I go to a park, all parks have a basketball court, or at least a hoop.
Right. I feel like, and I'm not saying that there's not privilege in basketball. That's not true. I mean,
because there's 100%.
But I feel like for this conversation, basketball is not the right sport to talk about.
Yeah.
Because you see so many people from nothing get everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I think it's more of an apt comparison because like basketball, I think it's you can get out. If you're a good player, you can get out, because I know there's a ton more support systems in basketball. Like, it's harder to get to the league in basketball than it is American football.
Yeah.
But also, like, I feel like there's almost more of a support system, and there's more of, like, it's more, they have more help to try and get you up there. Because once you're in an AAU team, from what a lot of people I've talked to have played AAU, it's almost like it can really be a family in some aspects. Yeah. But then, so the reason I think football and basketball are two that, like, it's hard to distinguish privilege at some points is because football, there's just been a ton of investment. I mean, every football player has a football foundation and a football camp. So it gets invested back. Basketball, like we said, there's a basketball court.
Yeah.
At every park you go to. Soccer, on the other hand, it's just everyone makes the joke it's not American.
Right.
So it's like, that's one of those sports, it's like, it just hasn't had time to get to the level that basketball and football are at. And so I think they lose in that aspect.
Yeah.
Talking about soccer, and we've talked about basketball plenty today.
Yeah.
Seems like we're always talking about basketball.
We like basketball.
Every conversation is just like LeBron.
Yeah.
We
go to Chapel Hill, of course.
Yeah.
We like basketball.
Yeah. It's a go-to for us. We got to talk about basketball at least once. So I want to start this off. What are you expecting from the Disney and sports marriage?
I think it'll be something that we've never seen before, and I think that'll be fun. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah.
To see, like you said, it's like it'll be a high school basketball tournament.
Yeah.
One game's played, all right, next game.
Yeah.
And same court. It'll just be, I think it'll be very competitive, and I think it'll be fun. That's the word I'm going to describe it as.
Yeah. I think it'll be I agree with you. It'll be fun because it'll be like that high school atmosphere.
Yeah.
I also think a fun way they could do it, I don't know if they'll do it because of the coronavirus restrictions and all their rules, but I always thought a fun way of doing it is you have the two teams playing on the court, and then you have everyone else who hasn't played yet in the stands.
Okay.
So, like, because they're all going to be in contact with each other at some point. So, like, then, like, someone dunks. Could you imagine LeBron dunk, and then you got, like, Kyrie Irving sitting there, and he's like, he's getting hyped.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like he's pulling for that team. I mean, he's not pulling for the Lakers. He's not pulling for... But, like, basketball is so much closer than... Like, used to in the old days, everybody hated each other.
Yeah.
Now it's like a big old family. They hang out with each other when it's off season. And, and they, they want to see... It's like they want to see each other do well.
Yeah. You always see the clips of, like, the 5-on-5 basketball.
Right, yeah.
Of literally all NBA stars.
Right. And it's, they all come from different teams. Whereas Michael Jordan and the Pistons, they would literally... They hated each other.
Kill each other.
Like, Michael Jordan said it. Like, he hated them.
Yeah.
And he hates them still to this day.
Yeah.
And it's not like that anymore. So I think the atmosphere of playing together...
In front of, like, your fellow league athletes.
Yeah. I think that'll be... That would be something that nobody's ever seen before.
Yeah.
So.
I think it'd be fun, but I also understand why they can't. Like, if they're like, oh, coronavirus, we don't want... Because if one person somehow brings the case and everyone's in the stands, the whole league could get it in that aspect. But, I don't know. I think it'd be a fun aspect to add to it.
And it would be interesting to see who was actually pulling for somebody,
Yeah. I know what you mean. One thing I noticed, because we talked about this last week's episode, which I need to upload the rest of that. We were talking about it, and I remember we were talking about, so there's 22 teams, and I found out it's not even spread.
Yeah.
It's 9 from the East and 13 from the West.
Yeah.
And luckily, my Wizards snuck in the 9th seed.
Nice.
But what is your opinion on the whole, like, they're only taking 22 teams? Like, because with the MLS, which is another team going to Disney to finish their season, they're going to do, like, a World Cup-style tournament, which I think will be incredibly fun, watching, like, a World Cup-style tournament. But, like, they brought everyone. So what do you think of, like, the only bringing the 22?
If you bring everyone... like they did it math-wise.
Yeah.
What's possible for them to make the playoffs with the amount of games that we're going to play? Who can make the playoffs?
Yeah.
If they brought Charlotte, it would be a waste of Charlotte's time. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, they couldn't bring everyone because it just wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
But if they brought everyone, then everybody gets to play everybody. And so, like, the teams that might not have made the playoff or close to making the playoffs could have played a bad team and bumped up their record.
Yeah.
And so, like, you're losing the opportunity to win games that should be won.
Yeah.
But, so, like, it's kind of already the playoffs before the playoffs even start. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I gotcha.
But, yeah, they did it math-wise.
Yeah. No, I get the math-wise, I understand. And also, it's like, with how the world is going, I don't think you want to have a fluff game.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to... I know I mentioned Kyrie in the stands, but I don't think the Nets are in it. But, like, no one... I feel like the league would feel bad if they played a game of the Nets versus Charlotte Hornets. Because it's like... The people in Brooklyn and people in Charlotte are going to be like, yeah, look at our teams.
Yeah.
But it's also like, no one wants to watch that game.
Yeah, right. Especially Charlotte, dude.
Yeah.
As a Charlotte fan, I'm just go ahead and say it. We suck.
Yeah.
And if we don't get better soon, I just hope we
Sell the team.
Yes, I hope we don't have a team. It's embarrassing. We haven't even been close to having a good team.
Yeah.
I mean, we had Kemba Walker and couldn't do anything with him.
Yeah. Guy who can drop 54 every night.
And still can't win. Like,
Yeah.
it's embarrassing for the city of Charlotte. And if it doesn't get better, then why have a team?
Yeah.
Why have a team?
Yeah. And, yeah, because I was looking at it. I get why they're not playing the teams. Luckily, Wizards made it. But Wizards are kind of in the same thing. For, like, 3 years ago, we were starting to go. Because, like, we just drafted Bradley Beal. He was starting to emerge. We had
John Wall.
We had a good front court with Gortat, Nene for a little bit. We mixed in, like, Marcus Morris.
Yeah.
All the people. But, like, we were starting to get there. But then it just feels like every time we get so close, it just falls down.
Yeah.
And it's kind of made me realize... And I've been watching a ton of sports documentaries because, you know, quarantine, I have an insane amount of time.
Else to do, right.
It's like, I've never realized until now how important it is to have an overall good organization.
Yeah. And it's like the Lakers. It's like they were bad for what? A year?
2 years? Something like that.
And now they're going to win the championship probably.
Yeah.
Like why can't Charlotte do that, man? Come on.
Yeah, it's like, because this is an idea across sports. A good organization trumps good players, in my opinion.
Right.
Like, a good organization, now, don't get me wrong, good organization needs good players. You can't win a Super Bowl.
Kind of like the Knicks.
Yeah, exactly. But, like, it is insane how, because, like, you look at any other sport, Real Madrid, obviously they're a good organization.
Mm-hmm.
They're still, I think, the first most expensive team in the world. Then you have teams like Manchester United. Everyone knows who Manchester United is.
Right.
They have their down years where they finish like 5th in the league.
Yeah.
It's like, oh God, 5th?
Yeah.
But then you have teams like, I mean, you can even look at it on the opposite end of the spectrum. The Browns. Yeah. They were bad for as long as bad is bad.
Yeah, you can't be much worse.
You cannot. They were... I have one of my close friends who's actually, he's going to start helping us more on these Oakwood Project stuff. Mitchell, he is a Cleveland Browns fan. And I couldn't tell you any time when we were in school together, which was from 3rd to 8th grade, where he was excited about his team.
Yeah. It's like, oh, we got a game tonight. No, it's like, dang it, we got a game tonight.
You're like, you're saying we still got to play the Steelers? They can't just give us the win?
Yeah.
No, but, like, what do you think? Organization, like, organization is the biggest thing, right?
Well, you got to look at one of the biggest organizations in the world is my Dallas Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
That is an organization. That is a name. And even when we suck, we are still mediocre.
Yeah.
We never have a Brown season.
Yeah.
We have a 7-9 season.
Yeah. Or if you do have a
8-8
Browns season, it's like a 1-year bounce back.
Right. And I haven't been alive to see a Dallas Cowboy Super Bowl.
Barely a Dallas Cowboy playoff win.
Okay. Well, shut up. We still have. We won. Like, in our past, we won. And that organization was just built off that. And so I don't think we'll ever be terrible.
Yeah.
And it's like you can say that about a lot of teams. Chapel Hill, right?
Yeah. Their down year is
down year
this year, which was
this year.
What did we finish? Almost 500.
It was
a little lower than that.
I think it was a little lower than that. But next year we're going to be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a professional organization, but it's still a name that carries a winner's mentality with it.
Yeah. And let's not joke here. College sports have the same structure as a professional setup.
Definitely.
With slight changes. Instead of having scouts that look for draft picks and free agents, they have scouts that go to high school basketball games who pick out, okay, I like this point guard. He's got size. He's got a shooting ability.
Right.
Let's put him on the list.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I like organization, in my opinion, trumps all. Because if you look at, oh my God, you could take the Chicago Bulls for a second. I know that whole documentary was kind of like crapping on Jerry Krause because he was
right.
He was a good. I remember me and my dad were talking about he's a good general manager. He's a bad person.
Yeah.
But that being said, what have the Bulls done since?
Right.
Since he's left, what have the Bulls done?
Right. Drafted Kobe White.
Yeah, they drafted Kobe White. Smartest move they'll make. Worst move they've made is not starting him.
Yeah.
But
that is true.
but I mean that's like the kind of thing is like a good team and a good organization. You need a good organization to build a dynasty. You can have a good team that wins one Super Bowl.
Right. Exactly. That is the statement that need to be said.
Because like, oh God, I gotta think. I mean, there are so many teams you could say had that like one and done year, almost made it. Carolina Panthers.
That was I was
boom,
gonna say.
Fantastic team. I remember watching them. It's like you couldn't score, and you couldn't stop them.
Yeah,
you're screwed. So they went all the way. I think didn't they finish like 15-1 and lost the Super Bowl?
Super Bowl. Yeah.
But like, what have they done since?
I hated that team. It's because in North Carolina, this is kind of a side topic, but in North Carolina, near Charlotte, we don't win a lot of things. We don't win basketball. They don't win a lot of football. They've started to win a couple.
Yeah.
But going to school that season, there were hundreds of Carolina Panthers fans that were fans for that season and that season only. And because of that, I hate the Carolina Panthers, and I hope they never win a Super Bowl.
Anyways, the fair weather fans kind of thing?
Yes, the bandwagon. Anyways.
Funny thing to mention on that, actually, is on my run today I'm running, and there's this place, Fairweather Farms, that I ran by. And as I'm running by it, I thought it was so funny because I saw Fairweather Farms, and I was like, I wonder if they grow Kansas City Chiefs fans there. Like, that's immediately what I thought, because Fairweather fans, like you just said, make me almost hate the Super Bowl teams.
Yep.
Like, I like the Broncos, but I remember going to school, and I saw a Broncos jersey, and I was like, boy, you've lived in North Carolina your whole life.
Yeah.
I mean, I lived in North Carolina, but I like the Redskins, but that's because my dad taught me how to like the Redskins. If you grew up in North Carolina, your dad's a, I don't know, Eagles fan, and you're a Broncos fan, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I just don't believe it.
It's not true.
I think there's, obviously, like, I understand you want to pick a team, and then that team can be, like, you should be allowed to pick any team.
Right. But you can't pick a team this season and then pick another team the next season.
Yeah.
One of my friends, he likes the Patriots, and all of his teams now are in Boston.
Yeah.
That's just, he went with the Boston area.
Yeah.
And he is a diehard fan for all of Boston's athletics. Yeah. And I respect that, and I wanted to do that. But then I like Dallas, but I like Charlotte.
Yeah.
But
I can understand, like, I like the people who pick an area. For me, DC Sports.
Right. You did the same thing, yeah.
Yeah, I picked DC Sports because all my family's from Northern Virginia. Technically, we're from Philadelphia, but we don't remember those. mostly from Northern Virginia area, and that's the DMV where everyone supports the Redskins or the Baltimore Ravens. But I get that, and I also like fans who are like you, who if you have different sports, like you have the Cowboys and you have the Charlotte Hornets, it's like if you have the two different cities, I'm fine if someone like the Dallas Cowboys in one sport and the Philadelphia 76ers in another sport. Those are two rival cities.
Yeah.
But like, I don't care as long as you stick with them.
Right.
If they suck, just put your head down. Don't say anything.
Right. And hopefully next year they'll be better.
Exactly. Exactly.
I don't know. That whole situation with the Carolina Panthers, I despise everything about the Carolina Panthers because of that season.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It.
All right, hold on. I'm going to take a pause just to make sure everything's still flowing. Yeah, 42 minutes. Okay. I kind of like where we're going with this. I can just edit this bit out. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I think fair weather fans are a pain. And I'm bringing this back to Europe. One of the things I love about soccer, not in America, is how freaking passionate those fans are.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
Like, anybody who's watching this to this point, because I figured out how to release an hour-long video, so we're going to release this in an hour.
All right.
Anybody watching this at this point, Google pictures of, like, soccer games in Prague, soccer games in Turkey, or football matches, if you want to be all European, football matches in certain parts of England, France, and all that. When the stadium is filled with flares from the fans, I think that is amazing.
Yes, and they would die for their team.
Oh my God, they would die.
That's just not here in America, and I wish it was.
Yeah, exactly.
God, those stadiums. I have no clue about soccer. I don't watch it. I never have.
Yeah.
But I would love to go to a soccer match
in Europe.
I would love to just see the atmosphere. I wouldn't know who to pull for.
Yeah.
But by God, I would love to see their fans.
Yeah, because documentary you should watch. It's soccer related, but it's more like what it's like to be a fan of a team that's not good.
Yeah.
And it's called Sunderland Till I Die, and it covers a team in England. And England is like a middle ground. They're very passionate, but they're not like Turkey where they light a flare and throw it on the field when they're pissed.
Yeah.
Like, they're angry, but like it's just more screaming.
Yeah.
Watching those videos are insane because it's like one of the jokes they always make, or not jokes, but one of the things they always say is like the Sunderland Football Club is their church.
Yeah.
Like, they view it as the such. However the team is doing is how the city's doing.
Yeah.
That's how important the sport is to the city.
Right. It's their life. Some of them.
Yeah.
They live, they breathe, and they will die. That team.
Yeah.
And that is beautiful. That's what sports should be.
Yeah.
That's why sports are a thing.
Yeah. And I think one thing that American sports fall short with is it's just very much the part of it is I think Americans think they're too cool to do certain things.
I think yeah.
But also another thing is like I'm obviously a victim of it. I've obviously done it. Or not victim. I'm obviously a culprit. I've done it. But like you just go to a football game, you sit there, you eat your hot dog, someone scores, you stand up.
Yep.
You sit back down and you watch the game, check your phone.
Yep.
All that. Whereas like I watch games, like I watch documentaries about English soccer, I watch all this. It's like they're standing from the second the whistle goes off.
Yep.
And they don't sit down until like 20 or 30 minutes after the whistle's gone.
Right.
Because they want to sing, they want to dance, or they want to give that manager a reason not to want to come back to the stadium.
Right. We've had this conversation before. If the NFL was like European soccer, I would go to every football game.
I would pay the insane fees.
Right. It would just make the sport so much more entertaining.
Yeah.
And not that it's not entertaining, but like, God, just imagine.
Yeah.
Just imagine. That'd be beautiful.
God. Obviously, some American sports do kick off. I think college is as close as we get to European sports.
Yeah.
Because a college stadium are kids that go to the school.
Right.
Live by what the school says, literally live at the school, so they have that experience. But I think a big part of it is a lot of European sports teams are more grassroots than American is.
Yeah.
Like, for me, going to a football game costs, nosebleeds are somewhere like $200, $300.
Yeah.
I know I've seen places in Europe where you can go to a local football match for still a professional team, maybe not in Premier League, but still a professional team, and it's probably a tenth of that price.
Yeah.
And you can go and you'll sit, and it's not like I'm in the nosebleeds of FedEx Field where like I'm looking down and all the players look like ants. It's like I'm 20 feet back from the players.
Yeah.
I can see their face, kind of thing.
Yeah. It's America does it because they can and because it makes a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
But they don't care about the relationship
As
as much as
yeah.
they do the money.
100%.
And that's just America. I mean,
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah. It's not going to change like boom.
Right.
We're not going to be like this. I remember another one I've been watching. I've just scrolled through Amazon. They did one Liverpool player named Steven Gerrard. He grew, and it's like this plays into the whole academy system we talked about earlier. Is like he was born and reared in Liverpool.
Yeah.
Spent his whole life in Liverpool. He played for their I think it was like somewhere like his under sixes all the way up to when he played for the professional team.
Yeah.
And it's like that combined with the culture of soccer and European football. It's almost like and then you're like watching the documentary, and one thing his dad said and his wife said, because they were interviewed in it, is like it meant so much to him because he eventually became the captain and he's like the face of Liverpool.
Yeah.
That like when they lost, he was devastated. Like he wished he couldn't take it because his fans were like he was hated, and those were literally the people he grew up with.
Yep. It's when Brazil lost to Germany in
World Cup.
two World Cups in a year.
2014.
Yeah, like the Brazilians were just
crying.
They were distraught.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't know what to do. They wanted to riot. They couldn't take it.
Yeah.
And like
especially the way they took it. Like they got battered.
Embarrassed. It was not a loss. It was an embarrassment.
Yeah.
And like if I was a player, I would have been scared of my fans.
Yeah.
The people that loved me hated me because of what I just did.
Yeah.
And that's what sports should be, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think obviously there's a point where passion exceeds what it should, and you hear those stories. Like I know there was a story, God, this was a long time ago. I was reading about it. In Brazil, a soccer player was killed after he scored an own goal and they lost the game. And he was killed by a fan in like I think a bar next day or that night or something like that. And obviously that's where it goes too far.
Right.
But at the same time, if I go to a Redskins game, from now on, obviously I don't know when the next one is, but next time I go to the Redskins game, I don't care how cool I look. I'm gonna wear I'm gonna wear the jersey. I'm gonna wear the little pajamas if it's cold. If it's warm, maybe not. But I'm going to stand up and I'm gonna yell. I'm gonna jeer. I'm gonna yell at the players. I'm gonna yell at the coaches, both sides.
Yep.
I'm gonna sing Hail to the Redskins. I'm gonna do everything I can because it's like I want the players to know that this is my team.
Right. Yeah.
And it gives the players so much more to fight for because it's
exactly.
like people want you to succeed. They care about
as
you.
much as I want to succeed, somebody else wants me to succeed that much as well.
Yeah.
And it, like you said, it can go too far. There was a person that got stabbed, I think last year.
Probably.
In soccer.
And there's always like death threats and stuff.
A fan from the stands jumped onto the field and went and stabbed a player on the opposite team. But like, in a way, as long as nobody gets hurt, it's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
It's beauty.
I love seeing the videos of like pictures from Turkey after a massive, the British people call it derby, it's rivalries. After a massive derby, and it's just like there's flares. It's basically it turns into a festival.
Yeah.
Watching the sport becomes the festival, and I love it.
It's like when Carolina beats Duke.
Exactly.
Rush Franklin Street, burn the couches.
That's what I mean. College sports are as close as we have to European passion. Because the college sports is like you rush Franklin, or you burn a couch, you go mental and you throw stuff.
Yeah.
And, like, and I will take the joy of the passion, even though I understand, like, the anger behind it. Because, trust me, I've been in this house when the Cowboys win a game when they shouldn't have won a game.
Yeah.
And it's like my dad is he's going crazy. He's throwing stuff, yelling. By throwing stuff, I mean, like, pillows.
Yeah.
I'm screaming. There have been times I've cried because we've lost. But, like, that just... I wish that was more of a uniform thing. Some people just watch football and they're just like, okay, let's watch.
Yep.
Interception.
Yep. It's sad, but
it's what I think it'll get better.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not. I mean,
and it's not horrible.
Right. It's not terrible.
We're making it sound like it's horrible, but it's like it's just a different culture.
Right. And I wish it wasn't.
Yeah.
I wish we had the same passion, but I mean, we don't, and I kind of understand why, because we don't. I don't want to be depressed after the Cowboys lose. I'm going to be sad. I don't want to hate my life for the next 7 months. But, like, in some ways I kind of do, you know?
Yeah, I agree. Along with that, I've always had an issue with this. I think college football actually did this well with the New Year's Six and everything in the bowl games. But one thing I hate about the Super Bowl, and I think I mentioned this, I hate that it is so expensive that fans of the team sometimes can't go.
Right.
But the thing with college football that they did that I thought was awesome, I think it was done by Taco Bell technically, but they like funded tickets so students could go to the game. So each team had a student section.
Right.
If they could do that for an NFL team, like if the if the Kansas City Chiefs make next year's Super Bowl, I'd love to see the Chiefs owner say like, we've bought 2,000 tickets.
Yeah.
You guys, I will give them out for free, even if it's a giveaway.
Right.
I will give them to the fans who maybe don't have the money, and it's like a ticket and a plane ticket, like round trip.
Yeah.
And maybe a hotel or something. Because, like, obviously that sounds like a lot, but an NFL owner could afford that for 2,000 people.
And it would make it more competitive. Because we've had this conversation plenty of times. Super Bowl doesn't even feel like a football game. It feels more like a show.
Yeah.
Feels more like a Hollywood production.
Yeah.
Like, it's because America makes the money.
Yeah. The money's more important.
Right. I mean, if the Super Bowl would mean more if you had the fans and the fans of
the two teams,
and there wasn't a halftime show, and there wasn't these commercials, and it was just a football game, it would be a lot more competitive, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think, because I mean, obviously there are still moments, like Super Bowls are extremely passionate and like exciting, but it's like we watched the one this year, and I remember watching it and I'm like, oh my God, I want to see, I was cheering for the Chiefs because I was like, I like Andy Reid, even though he's a former Philadelphia Eagles coach, but I like him. But also, like, imagine that stadium, but you have 2,000 Chiefs fans. You have 2,000 of the Arrowhead suckers. And then you got 2,000 of the 49ers hooligans all, like, in there. And you don't have to put them at opposite end zones, obviously, in case there's, like, a brawl or anything. Put them in opposite end zones. Fill the rest of the 60,000 seating stadium with people who pay the money. And then... because, I mean, you still make concessions off the fans who are going there for free.
Right.
And so it's just like, oh, man, it would be so much fun. Because imagine you score a touchdown in the Super Bowl and you jump into the stands and it's your fans. Like, it's not just people who just bought the jersey yesterday.
Right.
It's your Arrowheads, your 49ers, it's your Cowboys. Like,
it would make it... It's already special for the players.
Yeah.
But it would make it more special.
Yeah. And this also isn't just... I mean, we've been comparing Europe and America with a lot of this. Maybe that's what this is going to be called, Europe versus America. But they have that issue similarly with the Champions League final, which is like the biggest thing for club soccer in the world. And they have that aspect of it. Like, you can't... like, it's very expensive. And usually, one thing that Super Bowl has is everything's in America. But one thing, like, I think 1 year it was in Istanbul. One year it's in different place, part of France, Qatar, Turkey, different places. So I understand they also have the same issues. But, man, they still turn out.
Yeah.
It's not an issue of what the price is. It's an issue of where do I buy the ticket.
Right.
Like, they will buy. I don't know what the prices are, but, like, you still see half the stadium's red, half the stadium's white.
Because that's what they live for.
Yeah, that's what they live for.
And you just don't live for it here. But.
Yeah. And a lot of Americans are more just like, I want to go to a Super Bowl. And it's not like I want to go to my team winning the Super Bowl.
I don't want to go to a Cowboys Super Bowl.
Yeah, I just want to go to the Super Bowl. It's the event. I want to go to the Super Bowl.
Because it's more of an event than it is a game.
Yeah, exactly. I think obviously it means a lot for the players because, like, players break down and cry.
And, I mean, it means the war. I mean, that's what they're fighting for. That's what they live their life for.
Yeah.
But for the fans, it's more of the experience than it is the game.
Yeah, and obviously they go into mania, but that's just because most Super Bowls, minus that boring one between LA and New England, most Super Bowls are like pretty close games usually. I remember it was a close game, the Rams versus the Patriots, but that was such a snooze fest.
That was terrible.
But, like, imagine that same thing, but it's in the LA Coliseum and it's with their fans, or it's in Gillette Stadium and it's with their fans. Dude, it would be mental. It would be people losing it, people getting excited, and I think they benefit, but I'm also like, the current system is still fun to watch.
Oh, it is. And I mean, you passion is there.
Yeah.
But
to a different extent.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because obviously, I think I've told you this, and I've made the joke before, I would sell my left kidney to see the Redskins play the Super Bowl. Because genuinely, if they get to the Super Bowl, I will go into debt to watch that game.
Yeah.
Like, I will be there. I will pay for everything, all like probably $400,000 that I'll probably have to spend. I'll go into college debt for that. And I want to sit there and watch. Because if we get battered, at least I was there when the Redskins played in the Super Bowl. Because, like, you get to see a Super Bowl. Because, in our lifetime, 100 teams will win the Super Bowl. And in theory, each team would win it 3 times. But we all know that's not how it works.
Right.
If the Redskins go 1 year, I may never see them for the rest of my life.
Right.
So that's why I'm like, I would sell everything. I would spend all the money I had to get there.
That's why, as a Chapel Hill fan, we were blessed because when we lost the
National Championship.
The National Championship to Villanova, I didn't know what to do because I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know if I was going to ever see it again.
Yeah.
And I had already seen one in 2009. I don't really remember it. But, like, that was our chance. And in 4.7 seconds, we blew it. And that was hard. And I broke some stuff.
Yeah.
Not going to lie.
Yeah.
But then the next year we won it. So I was like, okay, then I did see it.
Yeah.
But still, like, you just don't know if you ever see it again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why I'll never judge. They always do those stories of, like, the dads or, like, not even dads. Let's not solo out by gender. But, like, the sports fans who you spend it all. Or, like, I've seen stories of, like, the people who are from China who fly here and then drive 200 some miles.
Yep.
And then they get to the game just to see LeBron play Kevin Durant or something.
Just to see Vince Carter play that.
Exactly. Just to see the final game of Kobe. Like, I remember that was nutty.
Yeah.
Get Kobe's final game. And it's just like, that's what I want. Like, I would drop everything because you never know when it's going to happen again. And would you rather be the one to say, I wish I'd gone, or the one that says, I'm glad I've gone? Because, like, that to me, because especially with Chapel Hill, I've never watched. Obviously, I was alive when they won the national championship, but I never watched it. Now, me being a Chapel Hill fan, I want them to get there so bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what sports are about.
Yeah.
So that's why they were created.
Yeah, it's the passion of it all.
To win and to love. And That's sports.
Yeah, I think we'll be wrapping up here, but that's one of the things I adore about sports, and that's one of the things that hurts most about this quarantine is the lack of sports. Because I know, especially with like school, when we were in classes and such, I mean, one night we watched the women's national championship in the soccer.
That was before my final. Final the next morning.
Exactly, and it's like sports help you. I hate the term like you escape from reality because I don't think it's healthy, but also it gets you to go do something else.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to sit in my room and do homework for 7 hours.
Right.
I want to go and do something, like going to a sporting event or watching the women's soccer game, even though we lost. Screw Stanford.
And
even though we lost. Especially the goalie.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
Yeah. No,
Gosh, she had an attitude.
I hope we get back, and I hope we drop a mean goal on her. Like something that makes her look silly. Unless she's a senior, then she escapes. But I hope there's some goal where like they do a dummy and score.
She had an attitude.
Oh, I hate it. And the worst part was the whole time when she did that, like before they knew they won, I was like, oh, she's about to look like an idiot.
Yep.
We're about to drain this.
And that's the thing. And then once they won, we couldn't say anything.
Yeah, it was just one of those.
Well, shit.
And that's part of what I love about sports. Sports also teach you, especially if you grow up a sports fan, they teach you humility.
Yeah.
I can't, as a Redskins fan, talk crap to a Patriots fan.
Yeah.
In certain aspects. Because, obviously, I can send them a joke about all the Deflategate, Spygates, all that. But, like, Redskins lost.
Yeah.
I learned very early, Redskins lost a lot. And I also learned very early, keep your head down.
Yep.
If you don't want to be annoyed by people making fun of your team, put your head down and don't talk about it. There's other things.
Yep.
But that's one of the things I love. But closing out of this, my brother brought up this funny thing before he came here. It was something, I think Hassan Minhaj did it. He does the Patriot Act on. Love his show. It's what would your Ben and Jerry's ice cream name be? My brother had a really good one. I'll give you an example. Hassan Minhaj's was Hassan Mint Haj, and it was like mint ice cream with chocolate chips. My brother's was Jared Velvet. Okay. So Jared Velvet Cake ice cream. I haven't come with mine. I'm trying to think of something with Ethan. I would do like Ethan Mint ice cream, like Thin Mint ice cream. Because I think Thin Mint ice cream.
Thin Mint, okay.
Yeah, Ethan Mint ice cream. So, what do you think? Carter, it could be off Patterson.
You put me on the spot here.
Yeah. It's okay. We can edit bits out. We can cut it down to where you just give the answer.
I have to think about this for a second.
Maybe I'll put up a little graphic above my head that's like Ethan Mint, and then that'll be your name.
I got to do something with a small joke, you know.
Carter.
So does it have to be off the name, or can I just do like personality or something?
Yeah, you can do personality. And then just have your face. Because, like, they have the Jimmy Fallon ice cream.
Right, the Tonight dough.
The Tonight, yeah. I think, great idea for Ben & Jerry's. If Ben & Jerry's is ever listening, you should make a website where people can put in their names and create their own ice cream. You don't have to make it, but, like, create it and have, like, a cool graphic. I think that'd be sick.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. Please sponsor. I eat so many pints of ice cream.
Dang it, dude! This is hard. What
I know.
am I supposed to do?
I just thought of Ethan Mint right when we were sitting here too. Ethan Mint.
Carter Patterson.
I'm trying to think of ice cream flavors with Carter.
With chocolate, that's a C, but
Patterson.
I can think of
just say it. You can say it.
It's like a Girl Scout cookie. It's not a...
Wait, what is it called?
Peanut butter patty.
Peanut butter Patterson.
Okay.
I like that. I did it Thin Mint. I don't know if Thin Mint ice cream's a thing, but I think it'd be spectacular.
Thin Mint's definitely another Girl Scout cookie.
100%, yeah.
We're going with the more Girl Scout cookie than we are Ben & Jerry's here.
But all right, this is Two Heels Podcast closing off. We talked about a lot today. We also just kind of went with the flow after we finished our topics list right here.
Took some some routes.
But I enjoyed them.
Yeah,
we got to talk about stuff. I don't know when another live edition of this will happen.
It might be a long time.
Yeah, and by a long time, we mean probably like sometime in August.
Yeah, probably like August
6th.
or something. Yeah,
I say 6th, 10th. All right, well, we'll see when it's...
first day of school. Probably won't be the 10th.
I think a good idea would be to film it before school. But anyways, this is the podcast.
It's been fun.
It's been fun again. Carter's first time in the Boyd house. It's fun.
It's good to be here.
Good to see everything.
Yep.
Anyways, this is Two Heels Podcast Show Thingy, episode 3, talking about sports and things. Signing off. You have Ethan Mint Boyd here.
Peanut Butter Patterson.
All right. Boy.
You could get a carton of Peanut Butter Patterson.
Okay. Carton of Peanut Butter Patterson. And you can get Ethan Mint. Yeah. All right. All right. There you go. There you go.
Nice.
Okay.
Biggie boy.